to Boat TV. Shay here, and hoping that this interview will quench your thirst while quarantined, because today we are talking wine. Joining me today is Jessica Kogan, the Chief Digital and Marketing Officer for Vintage Wine Estates. Welcome, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good, Shay. Thank you. I'm hanging in there. Thank you for thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, definitely. I can agree. I just feel like right now we're trying to maintain our sanity, and let alone you maintaining a business as well. So I can only imagine.
It's definitely been challenging. I mean, there's so many stories I could share with you. I have two kids that I live with, and it's like I'm trying to work. They're like jumping in the middle of me talking on like 10 different conference calls, and I'm like holding one and trying to have a conversation here. And I mean, nothing I ever dreamed of, expected is happening right now. And so I think it's just kind of fascinating that just what you never expected to happen is happening.
No, I definitely agree. And, let them be a part of those meetings. It's all good. They might want to learn a little more about wine and take over the business.
Right. Absolutely. I have to say what's particularly interesting is that the unexpected piece of it is all of the colleagues that I work with, they're all like, oh, that's so nice. And it really brings a little more humanity to the conversations. So that is like, I think one of the silver linings, it's instead of being in the conference room, like, it's just like, this is my messy life.
This is my norm. Definitely. So before we get into the business part of it, I do want to ask you, what are some recommendations of the best wine to drink during quarantine?
One of the joys of drinking wine for me right now is imagining that I'm somewhere else. Not that I don't love my home, but the idea of being on vacation somewhere. So I have been drinking quite a bit of Italian wines. And I'm really into this one particular wine that Cameron Hughes Wine produces. It's a Barolo. It's lot 693, and it is just phenomenal. And it makes me feel like I'm sitting outside with the Tuscan sun, eating pasta and just like reflecting on the beauty of life. So I'm really into Barolo. I'm really into Moscato, Italian Moscato, which isn't as sugary as a typical California Moscato, and has really good acidity, so very bubbly, which they call it frizzante, and it's just very bright and light, especially as we get into the warmer season. And of course, I'm drinking rosé, because how can you go a day without rosé?
So this is a pandemic that's occurring right now that we're all living in right now, our new norm. The stores have closed and businesses have been kind of adapting to mobile orders, right?
Yes.
Have you seen a dramatic increase in the wine delivery orders that you have been working on?
Sure. So my background really is in e-com and in digital, and that's really where I cut my teeth. I have been building e-commerce systems and also marketing, and a brand marketer. For years in the wine industry, we really didn't see the same kind of uptick in sales that like fashion, other verticals have seen in buying online, right? So I would say just a few months ago in the wine industry, the e-com business represented maybe 5% of the total business of wine, versus fashion, where you're seeing about 40% of the business of consumer transactions happening online. We have seen a massive shift, and any wine company that has a robust direct-to-consumer portfolio, meaning providing the ability to customers to buy their wine online and deliver, have seen exponential growth over the last 2 months. To just compare, in the wine industry, for the first 9 months of the year, we're just kind of we're just breaking even. It's the last 3 months of the year that really make the difference, right? It's the holiday parties, it's Thanksgiving, it's Halloween, it's Christmas, everybody getting together. We just ship a lot of wine. What we have seen over the last 6 weeks is the same volume as the holidays plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And is that due to everybody staying home and having wine nights every day now?
I think there are a couple factors. So first we
Okay.
just have to look at like behavior.
Mhm.
We can't go to restaurants. We
Right.
can't drink wine. We're not able to travel. We're not drinking wine on the plane. We're not drinking wine when we go to the hotel. We don't, all the things that we typically do, we're not doing except in the home. And
Mm.
so what we're seeing is that customers still drink wine, they're still loving wine, they just only have a few channels to access it. And
Right.
so one of those channels is online that they
Right.
haven't turned to in the past. And so that's why they're all turning to it, because yes, they are stuck at home and they want to get their wine. Many customers are having a hard time getting it at the grocery store. So
Oh.
that is why they're turning to online.
So how has the wine production been affected by COVID-19's crisis?
We have been very lucky in California. I can't speak for the rest of the world and what's happening in the rest of the world, but in California, Gavin Newsom was pretty quick, though we had to close our tasting rooms. He was very quick to provide it's really a notice and a special dispensation
Mhm.
for the wine industry, for vineyards and for production, for us to continue production. So we're considered essential workers, and so we have been able to continue production. It's been a bit slower simply because we're trying to follow, the kind of the new normal, the new rules and regulations, 6 feet apart, masks, hand washing all the time, which, will slow things down,
Yeah.
but it hasn't slowed it down to the point where we're suffering from production. So we've been really lucky, and the state of California has been very supportive on that front.
What is some advice that you could give to other wine vendors who are struggling at the moment?
Oh, I mean, a lot of wineries. So there's over 10,000 wineries in California,
Mhm.
and obviously more in Washington, Oregon, and throughout the country. But
Wow.
one of the big issues that small wineries are contending with is that their revenue is derived by visitation. And
Mhm.
so what you're seeing in the hotel industry is really impacting those tasting rooms. And so the key for them is to be able to pivot online
Mhm.
and to be able to have some type of e-commerce ability to enable transactions for customers so that they can ship their wines to those guests who want to come visit but
Right.
can't visit. They're scared to visit, but still want the wine. So my advice is to try to, you know, figure out how to set up a very simple e-com store so that your customers can buy from you and support you.
Definitely agree. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for joining me today. I really
Yes,
appreciate it. And I'm glad. How is the weather in California right now?
it's literally perfect. The weather up in Northern California, it's 65, like perfect sunshine, no humidity. I grew up in DC, so I'm like super used to like insane humidity. It's just like it's perfect. It really is.
That's amazing. Well, I hope you get to enjoy at least some type of sun soon.
Me too. Thank you so much for being curious about our industry, and I hope for all of your viewers that they go out there online and support all their favorite wine brands, because it will make a difference for them.
No, definitely. And I hope this interview quenched everybody's thirst who's over here watching it and listening as well. I'm your host, Shay, and this is Both TV. Thank you for watching.